Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this in the world, or what time you're watching it. This is Sartorius, and thank you for being a part of watching the newest episode of Art of Fighting Games for Mortal Kombat 11. Now, without further ado, let's get started. For people new to watching this series, this is for people who just pick up a new fighting game and they want to get a general idea on how to play. One thing that I find that's very important and I truly adore about this game is that it helps you on whether or not you wish to play this game on controller or arcade stick. If you wish to play on arcade stick, you can go to controls, go to alternate control and turn this on. This is meant for arcade stick players. You can save that. And now when you go to your moves, you see here it benefits arcade stick players because they put the quarter circle back. To quickly go over the arcade stick buttons, both punch buttons are equivalent to R1 on the controller. 1 and 3, the two left punch and left kick buttons at the same time is equivalent to grab, which is L1 on controller. Both kick buttons are equivalent to L2 on controller, which would be 3 and 4. But the dedicated block button still stays. So naturally, we're going to start off with the movement. You hold forward to walk forward, hold back to walk back. You can duck, you can jump, you can dash forward by pressing forward twice, you can dash back by pressing back twice. You hold R2 to block because Mortal Kombat has a dedicated block button. You can stand block, you can crouch block, you cannot block in the air. To wave dash, I'm going to press forward, forward block, and then press forward, block, forward, block, forward, block. Here's what dashing looks like normally, and here's what wave dashing looks like. Wave dashing can take a little bit of practice, so don't worry if you can't nail it right away. It's only so your character can move in and out a little bit faster. You can also wave dash backwards by pressing the same thing, back, back, block, and then back, block, back, block. So you can hop in this game by tapping up, and you can jump by holding up. You can jump forward by pressing up and forward, you can jump back by pressing up and back, but you can only hop in place. You can't hop and press forward. When jumping in the air, I can jump and punch or kick as well. For certain characters, you can even activate special moves in the air. In this game, if you press block right when the attack is going to hit you, you can flawless block. Now for flawless blocking, if you look at how much damage I take from blocking Shang Tsung's projectiles where my health bar is, it takes quite a bit off. But if you flawless block it, it takes a lot less, as you can see from my health bar. Flawless blocking also gives you frame advantage. Now what frame advantage is instead of being staggered when a move hits, as you can see here, it takes me a little while before I can control my character again. But if I flawless block it, it lets me control my character faster and I can punish my opponent. So to clear up some confusing manners, I'm currently playing on the PlayStation, but if you are playing on Nintendo Switch, on Steam, or Xbox, I can't really refer to the buttons as square, triangle, X, or circle, because Xbox and other platforms don't have the same symbols for the face buttons. So I'm going to be referring it as 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see on your screen here, these are the button notations per controller that you're using to play this game. So instead of saying I'm going to do square, triangle, X, or circle, if you look at your Xbox controller, you don't have a triangle, square, or circle. So to clear manners up like that, I'm going to refer to the buttons as 1, 2, 3, and 4. The attack buttons in this game are 1, which is a left punch, 2, which is a right punch, 3, which is a left kick, and 4, which is right kick.
You also have crouching attacks. By holding down, you can press 1, 2, 3, or 4.
If you're playing on controller, your left bumper, LB, or your L1 on PlayStation would be grab. Now, however, if you're using an arcade stick, you can press 1 and 3, and that also gives you a grab button. When you grab, you can press forward and grab to throw them forward, or back and grab to throw them back. Shang Tsung is going to grab me and do a back throw, as you see here. In order to break this, I'm going to have to press 1 on my controller, or 3 on my controller. Now, Shang Tsung is going to do a forward throw. In order to break the forward throw, I'm going to have to press 2 on my controller, or 4 on my controller. It can be a bit confusing knowing which side he's going to throw. It's kind of a guessing game, but there are other ways that you can completely avoid grabs. So Shang Tsung's going to try to grab me again, and you can avoid it by ducking, or you can avoid it by just hopping. There are a couple of attacks that every character has. If you press back and 4, you can sweep the opponent, which is a knockdown. You can press down and 2, which is an uppercut. Or when you tap up to hop and press either punch or either kick attack, you get access to an overhead attack. The low attacks are very important because as you see, Shang Tsung is blocking, so he's going to be blocking everything that I throw at him. But if I want to bypass this block, I can just do a low attack. Now I set Shang Tsung to blocking low. So these attacks, he's going to keep on blocking. If I try my sweep, he'll block that as well. To bypass this, I have to do an overhead attack. To access my character's move list, I'm going to press pause and go to where it says move lists. It shows you all of your basic attacks here on this list. Your next page will show you the combo attacks. If you don't want to keep on pausing your game and coming back to this screen, you can go to a move that you want to remember, and you can press 2 to tag them. Now these moves will stay on your screen and you don't have to keep going back to the pause menu to keep checking your moves list. There will be descriptions on the side of certain attacks that will show you what special things are attached to certain moves. So for example, this normal move here doesn't have anything, but on the right of it, it'll say Krushing Blow. Sometimes it'll give you something like this move that'll say projectile, or something that'll say it can be canceled. So this move, Power Discharge, will be back 1, 2, and grab. If you're playing on controller and you don't wish to press 1 and 3, you can just press the simple grab button, which would be LB or L1, and the move will still execute. Now taking a look once again at Raiden's special moves, you can see here Lightning Bolt, Lightning Strike. You can control the distance of it, and Electric Fly. Again, I'm going to tag these moves on the screen so that way I can practice them, just so I can familiarize myself with the moves that Raiden has. When you're looking at your moves list page, you can combine moves together. So looking here on your combo attacks and the special moves, I will tag both of them on the screen, and I can show you that I can combine the two attacks together. This is called hit confirming. Not only can you hit confirm this move, but you can also do something like this with Storm Cell. Almost any of Raiden's special moves can be comboed together. So for example, I'm going to tag Elder Fury, which you see here. It's back 1, 2. And let's say I wish to combine it with Electric Fly. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. As you can see on the top left corner of your screen, it counts as a single string of combo hits. On the bottom left corner of your screen, you'll see 2 bars for a shield and 2 bars for a sword. This is your offense and defense meter. The sword is your offense, and this is what you're going to need for when you want to EX, or in this game it's called Amplify your attack. Naturally, my electric attack will be this, and if I want to use 1 bar of offense meter, I'll amplify it like so. To amplify it on controller, you press RB, which is the right bumper, or R1 on PlayStation. If you're playing on arcade stick and you wish to amplify your attack, you press 1 and 2 together as your attack comes out. If you'll notice on the bottom left corner, I'll use both of my bars of meter, and in order to gain your meters back, it recovers over time. So you have to be very careful on what you want to use your meter for. And the same applies to defensive meter. Most of your special moves can be amplified. So not only can this be amplified for Raiden, so can this, and his electric fly. A lot of his moves can be amplified. Sometimes amplifying a move can add additional combo potential. So for example, as I've said before, back 1-2 can go into this. As you see, I didn't amplify it, so he fell and he landed that far away from my character. If I wish to amplify it like so, I can continue my string and get a more high damaging combo. When a character is up in the air, as you see here, you can try to hit them as many times as you can before they hit the ground. That's called juggling. So I'm going to put Shang Tsung in the corner, and I'm going to try to juggle like this. As you see, I was able to squeeze in 2 extra hits. So if I wanted to do something like this, that still counts as a single combo juggle. Moving on to defense meter, Raiden has this move called the electric fly. Now in this game, if you hold down the move to execute electric fly, it'll look like this. That's by pressing back forward 3 and holding down 3. I can use 1 bar of defense meter in order to cancel it. And I cancel it by pressing down down. This can come in very much handy because if my opponent is blocking, I can be able to cancel out of it and keep my character out of the range of getting hit. As you can see, Shang Tsung is blocking all my attacks. So if I wish to back up and give myself a little bit of distance, I can do one of these. That will use 1 bar of defense meter and keep Raiden safe. Not every character can cancel, so be sure to look through your character's moves to see if they can or they cannot. Another way to use your defensive meter is a new mechanic called Breakaway. To break away, I'm going to have Shang Tsung hit me in the air, and while I'm at the peak of my height, I'm going to press down and block. As you see there, I just did a breakaway. Now the breakaway is important because sometimes if a character is going to do a really high damaging combo, you can't afford to take all the damage, so you use your breakaway. Breakaways are not invulnerable though. Every character has a way that you can stop your opponent from breaking away. By that I mean it's basically like an armor break move. So I'm going to do a combo to Shang Tsung and he's going to break away, as you see there. Now I'm going to do the same string with Raiden, but I'm going to use his armor break move to stop Shang Tsung from breaking away. Every character has an armor break move. Be sure to know your character's armor break. When you get knocked down, you can press L2 or left trigger and point back or forward in order to roll backwards or roll forwards. So Shang Tsung's going to knock me down, and I press back in LT or forward in LT. If you're on arcade stick and you want to roll, instead of pressing LT to make it easier on yourself, you can press both kick buttons, or 3 and 4, in the direction that you wish to roll. While talking about being knocked down, you have the option of delaying the time that you get up. So I'm going to have Shang Tsung knock me down, and you see how fast rating gets up. Now Shang Tsung is going to knock me down, and I'm going to hold both kick buttons, or LT or L2, to stay on the floor a little bit longer before standing back up. One very important thing is that you cannot delay wake up and then roll. You have to either make the choice on whether or not you're going to roll or delay the wake up. You cannot do both. Now you can see here, I have very low health. The more I block with low health, I'm down to 1% health. If I have both my bars of defensive meter, I have what's called a last breath. I can use my defensive meter to keep myself in the game for a little tiny bit longer. After my defensive meter is gone, I can't afford to take any more chip damage. But my defense meter will come right back in the next round. You have an option of using 1 bar of offense and 1 bar of defense meter. If you can flawless block your opponent's attack and then counter with an up 2 or an up 3. An up 2 will pop your opponent up in the air. An up 3 will give you an invulnerable attack. When you flawless block into a pop-up attack, it can be interrupted. When you flawless block into an up 3, it cannot be interrupted. When you're knocked down on the ground, you can also wake up the same way. So when I'm knocked down, I can press up 2 to pop him up, or when I'm knocked down on the ground, I can press up 3 to at least knock him back a little. Another way that you can use your meter is by stage interactions. If you see this little bell hanging here in the background, I can use it to escape my opponent if I'm getting really badly pressured. So I can do this by pressing R1 or right bumper, and it'll get me out of there. It's not invincible though. If my opponent is really trying to stop me from using it because they know that I want to get out, I can armor myself by pressing the same button, R1 or right bumper, and then I'll press the block button to ensure my escape. It gives me armor so I can get out of there, get full screen away from my opponent, but it has a really bad drawback of also using the expense of my entire offensive meter. If you're on arcade stick, you can still use this interaction by pressing both punch buttons, or 1 and 2, at the same time. Interactions can be used very differently though. So for you, if you see here, back here, I can jump off of this to get myself out of the corner, or I can throw it at him by pressing down and the same interaction button, either R1, RB, or both punch buttons, and I can throw it at Shang Tsung to back him off. Some weapons you can use right out of the background, like this sledgehammer on the Black Dragon Fight Club. I can take this hammer and just hit Shang Tsung with it if I need to. There's different ways that you can use the stage interaction. Some stages you can use interactions to escape, or you can use them to kick your opponent and move them away from the wall to get yourself out of the corner. To do this, I'm going to press the interaction button and then press 3. Another example I can give is this sword in the background. I can choose to either jump off of it with the interaction button, or I can hold down and press interaction and actually use the sword itself. There's 3 logs of wood burning right behind me, and I can choose to throw them either close range or far range. The close range, I'll hold down and press the interaction button, or for far range, I'll just regularly press the interaction button. New to this game are Krushing Blows. Every Crushing Blow can be activated by meeting a certain requirement. To check your character's Crushing Blows, go to your move list. Right here, I'll tag it so it'll be on the screen. It says Crushing Blow, and then underneath it the description says triggers if this combo attack is a counter or a punish. So I set Shang Tsung to miss his uppercut, and then I'm going to do that attack. And it does so much more damage than it normally would if I did it regular. A Crushing Blow that everyone has is if you duck a high attack and counter with an uppercut. These are Raiden's. I would suggest you go in your character's move list to find out your character's Crushing Blows. Here's Downpour. Here's Hammer Fist. Here's the uppercut that everyone has. Here's Electric Fly Amplified. Keep in mind, the action gets changed at the end of the Crushing Blow. So for a normal uppercut, it would just look like that. But if I do a Crushing Blow uppercut, I'm able to combo afterwards. Not every Crushing Blow can end in a combo. Each one of them have different properties. A very important note about Crushing Blows, if I use this in my match, I cannot use the same Crushing Blow twice in the same match. So after I use it, it's gone for the rest of the fight. When you're at 30% health, you have access to a new move called the Fatal Blow. You can activate your Fatal Blow by what it says underneath your health bar. It says L2 plus R2. If you're on Xbox, it would be left trigger and right trigger at the same time. You can only have Fatal Blow if you're at 30% health or less. And if you hit it, it's gone for the rest of the match. However, if you miss your Fatal Blow, it's on cooldown and you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can get it back and try again. On Arcade Stick, you can activate your Fatal Blow by pressing both kick buttons and block. After your special moves page, you have your finishers page, but these are for fatalities, or if you want to end your match with a friendship or brutalities, this is where you would go for that. And even these have requirements. So in order to do the Zap Zap Brutality, you would have to end the match with grabbing them, and then you rapidly press both the punch buttons, then you'd get the animation for the Brutality. So now that Shang Tsung's health is low, what I'm going to do is do a forward grab, and then mash both the punch buttons. And there's the Brutality.
The elder gods are pleased.
In order to do a fatality, I'll go back to the moves list, go over to where it says finishers. Where you see here in the parentheses, it's telling me where I have to stand in order to do my fatality. So I'm going to do direct current. I cannot do a stage fatality because I'm not on a stage that allows me to do so. So I'm going to tag direct current so it's on the screen. And at close range, I'm going to press down, forward, back, and 3. It says finish him. This is my opportunity to do so. So down, forward, back, and 3. Now, one last thing that I really adore about this game is even if a character doesn't play to your liking, or you're worried that a character might be too much of a long range, you can actually go and change the character's moves to play more your style. So for Raiden, if I want to be more combo heavy, I gave him Storm Cell, because Storm Cell, when I amplify it, it'll let me do more combos that way. However, this is not the only move that he has that will allow him to combo, but it's the easiest one that I can suggest to new players. If you wish to design Raiden as more of a keep away character, you can give him Electric Burst with Quick Charge, and that would make it so that every time someone gets close to Raiden, you can just push them away and play more of a footsie game. The final page on your moves list is your special moves. This is for when you customize your character. This is the page that you would go to in the middle of a match so you can see which moves you equipped on them. So if I wanted to keep them away, I can do this. And if I wish to back someone up who has me pressured, I can do this. To keep someone away. And that's about it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this latest episode of Art of Fighting Games, where Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate has become my most favorite fighting game of all time. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. God bless and have a wonderful day.